All right, it's time for another story. Remember, these are children's stories for adults, or if you prefer, adult stories for children. And this is the third one in this series that we have put on the video. So this one is called Mary and the Flower Master. Not Flower Meister, Flower Master. I'm speaking Deutsch here. Flower Master in English, okay? Mary and the Flower Master. I think I'll just start. I was going to say a few words. I think I'll just start. We'll let it go this way. Once, perhaps just now, there was a little girl. We can call her Mary because that's her name. She's little, but just right. Once she had an adventure, her big adventure, with the Flower Master. The Flower Master looks a lot like the sun. He shines like the sun, he is warm like the sun, and he loves everyone, like the sun. There is much more of him than I can tell right now, but I can tell you of Mary's adventure with the Flower Master. The Flower Master loved all the children, of whom there were many, just like the stars. One of these is Mary. So when the Flower Master said, "Hello, let's have an adventure," a spectacular and wonderful and different and easy and up and down, in and out adventure, of course everyone, almost everyone, came running, especially Mary. She loved the Flower Master and she loved flowers. And of course, she always felt ready, or not, for an adventure. "Here's the idea," said the Flower Master. "The big idea, the flower idea, the bouquet idea. It would please me very much, so much. It would make me shine more and more if each of you, yes, each one, today, brought me a flower. It can be any flower, but not just any flower. It must be your flower of choice." "What's a choice?" asked Mary. "Good question," answered the Flower Master. "A choice is your heart's desire." "My heart's desire?" said Mary. "Yes, your heart's desire," said the Flower Master. "It's what you know you want when all else fails. Your truest wish, when all the little wishes aren't enough." "I don't understand," said Mary. She was never afraid to tell her feelings to the Flower Master. "Mary, my sweet, that's the adventure." And with that, the Flower Master said, "Let's get started. Now is the time of the great adventure." And with this, he opened the curtain to a new land, the home of the new flowers, said the Flower Master. "Go into this new land, each of you who seeks adventure, and bring me, for my pleasure, the flower of your choice." And now all the children who wanted an adventure were excited and began to run and hop and jump and skip, and like Mary, walk ever so tenderly into the new land. "Don't forget," shouted the Flower Master, "just one day, only this day, I'll expect you back for supper. I have a special feast planned for each of you, all together." Mary, a bit shy, but with much excitement, stepped and stepped and stepped into the new land. As the children ran and raced ahead toward the hills, toward the mountains, and the secret valleys, and toward the sea, and the windswept beaches, all in search of special flowers, Mary found they were running through a golden field, green and gold, like a carpet for a king. When she looked closely, she saw a carpet of grass, green spring grass, and hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of golden yellow flowers. Mary stopped. She could go no further. Never had she seen anything like it. Everywhere she looked, a golden flower was looking at her, nodding gently in the breeze. Mary was surprised. She thought finding her special flower would be difficult, but here in the morning light of spring were more special flowers than she could count. As she was trying to pick out just the right one, the flower of her choice, some children ran by. They laughed. "Not these, silly girl. These are only dandelions. The real flowers are further on in the mountains and the valleys, or along the rivers, or by the sea." Mary didn't know what to think. The others seemed to know more than she did. They seemed so sure of themselves. So, with one last look over her shoulder, she took more steps, and even more, until she was deep into the new land. The land of special flowers. "There must be one for me," she said silently to herself. "The flower master said so. I must look. First I'll go to the mountains," she said. "The special flowers must be high, high up. So high they must be the most difficult to reach." So she climbed and climbed, and even climbed higher still, looking for a special flower that no one else could possibly find. At last, when she was almost out of breath, she reached the top, and just as she thought, there, all alone, was the most special flower she had ever seen. If the flower master had not said, "Bring me a special flower," she wouldn't be able to take it from its home alone on top of the new world. She trusted the flower master that it would be all right. Just as she reached for the flower, she could feel it looking at her. It seemed to be saying, "Please don't pick me. I think I'm not your flower." Mary felt better. Deep inside, she had wanted to leave the flower on the mountaintop. She sat with the flower and looked out all over the world. "Somewhere down there must be my special flower," she said. The flower now at her side nodded in agreement. After saying goodbye and touching the flower with her nose lightly, she slowly came down, down, down the mountain, till she found herself alongside a wonderful little stream in the valley below. And there, just on the other side of the little stream, dancing happily over the water, was a small gathering of most beautiful tiny blue flowers. "Oh, one of these must be mine. I feel so happy here," said Mary. Lifting her dress with shoes and socks in the other hand, Mary carefully stepped across the cool, clear stream to the other side. "I'll sit here a moment and see if I can feel which one is mine," she said. Just as she had decided the biggest one, the brightest one in the middle, was her very special flower, her flower of choice, she heard, "Please, I need my feet in the water just now." Mary knew her new friend, whom she called Little Lady Blue, could not leave the water, the gentle stream, at this time. The day was growing shorter, and Mary, sitting now on the riverbank next to the blue flowers, was beginning to feel, "Maybe I won't find my flower." And a tear, just one, appeared on her cheek. But then she remembered the flower master and thought, I trust I'll find my flower of choice." She headed further on down the valley, toward the seashore. In the distance, she could see the blue water with the sun now beginning to settle over the sea and lighting everything with a golden glow. She started to run toward the beach, toward the water and the sun. Near the shore there were tall reeds and little hills of sandy soil, and suddenly windswept and beautiful red and golden poppies dancing in the sunlight. Mary thought, oh, surely these must be for me. This is why I left the mountaintop and the valley stream. My flower lives by the sea. Mary began to run faster now as the sun began to set gently on the water, flooding everything, even her face, with waves of orange, golden, pink, and yellow light. Just then she heard other children running too. They were laughing and shouting. They were bigger and quite a bit faster than Mary. Look, look, over there, they shouted as they ran past. And just that fast, as the sun began to slide silently behind the sea, all the golden red poppies were picked and were gone. Mary was alone. The sky was darker, turning blue-gray with just a bit of the glorious pink from a little while ago. Mary didn't have time to cry. She didn't have time to sit by the sea. The flower master expected her back before getting lost in the dark. She turned, alone again, and headed home to supper, though she wasn't hungry. She had to run now. The sun had set. She didn't know exactly the way. She just ran in the direction that seemed like home. Up ahead, she thought she could hear voices of other children. She couldn't be sure. She ran up a little hill and around a little bend. Here, higher up, were just a few shafts of light from the very top of the sun. She ran faster now, not to be late. Just ahead, she thought she saw a soft golden glow. Yes, this was it. This was where they had started in the morning light. This was the original field with the green grass and the... Just then she heard the master's voice, "All home, all home," and was running as fast as her little feet could run. She tripped and fell hard to the ground. She would have hurt herself, except she fell upon a thick, thick mass of soft flowers, yellow like the sun. Dandelions. Dandelions everywhere. Some even touching her face and caressing her outstretched arm. And just in front of her eyes, just now, one flower, yes, this one, was gently nodding to her. "Take me, Mary," it seemed to say. "I'm yours, and you're mine." Mary knew it. Just then she knew it. This flower was for her. She knew it didn't matter what it was called or how many there seemed to be. This one small golden yellow soft ball on its little limp stem was her last chance to come home with a flower. She loved dandelions. She had loved them since she was a little girl this morning. Even a littler girl than she was now. But she thought because there were so many, they were not so special, not so important, certainly not good enough for this special adventure with the flower master. Just then, just now, she heard him saying in his powerful soft voice, all home, time for the bouquet." She got up and with a slight limp from her fall, hurried as fast as possible toward the voice she loved to hear. It seemed all of the other children were already home with their chosen flowers. She could hear laughter and gentle shouting and the murmur of happy voices up ahead. "Aha! Oh my," said the master, "my favorite," holding up one of the special flowers. And then again, oh my favorite," he said as he held up another flower. This went on for quite a while. Each flower held aloft was proclaimed as "my favorite." The children laughed and murmured. Some of them seemed puzzled. Mary stood at the back with her little flower now hanging behind her. "Hold your chosen flower with love," the master boomed out. And Mary quickly brought her flower to the front and held it close to her heart. And on it went. The master gathering the flowers from each outstretched hand, each one, of course, his favorite, until at the back, with her eyes half closed, stood Mary, shy and a little bit afraid. "What have we here?" boomed the flower master. Mary trembled, waiting for the laughter she thought would be coming from the other children. But before that could happen, and it probably wouldn't, she heard, "Oh my favorite, my very favorite. I can never get enough of these, so I just keep making more and more and more." With that, he picked little Mary up, still holding her flower, and turned round and round, so everyone could see. He looked deep in Mary's eyes and said softly, but so that everyone could hear, "Aha! My. And now he set Mary gently down and proclaimed in his soft, penetrating voice, "All home? My. It's bouquet time." And with that, he gathered all the flowers to himself and showed them aloft. They were spellbinding. "Better than I expected," said the flower master. Always surprises, he declared. "I have all of you here," he said, looking at the children and the flowers and winking at everything. "Now look," he beamed, and with this he began to turn slowly round, while at the same time slowly turning the bouquet in his hands. Suddenly, everything was lit with a whole host of heavenly colors. A bouquet of colors covered and penetrated everything. When the master gazed softly at the red rose, everything, all the children, all the sky, everything was bathed in a deep yet soft red. And then the soft blue forget-me-nots, in their turn, showed everything in the soft blue. Mary could feel the bouquet now deep inside her. The red, the blue, the violet lilacs, the pink phlox, all seemed to be inside and outside, till finally she heard the master saying, almost to himself, "Oh my," as he looked directly again at Mary, and everything became golden yellow like the sun. Her flower was now close to the master's face as he continued to gaze into her with his love. Mary gently closed her eyes and felt the golden glow inside and out. And now she heard, "Just as I promised this morning, supper. Supper for everyone, whatever you like." With the bouquet on the table and all the colors blending and ebbing and flowing together again, all the children were happy. In the background and the foreground, they heard the flower master saying, My, a marvelous experience, marvelous." And Mary sighed softly to herself, "My best adventure, an adventure of choice, my heart's desire." And as Mary sat there amongst all the children and the master, she could see within the blending colors, the whole adventure from early morning until coming home. All the fields, all the mountains, all the valleys, and the rivers, big and small, and all the children running to and fro in search of their heart's desire. She could see herself lying finally in the field of golden yellow with her flower, saying, "Take me." She smiled and sighed again and said in a soft voice that everyone, including the flower master, could hear, "Oh my goodness." "Yes, yes," softly sighed the flower master. Thank you. Okay. Today we have just one poem, and then I want to make a little comment about the story that you just heard. There's a little poem that I think goes with the story. It's called Mary and the Peace Pilgrim. This poem appeared on a former video, but we're going to read it again. Last night, after the crows had gone to sleep, Mary and I still sat at the base of the giant cottonwood. The silent crows, just before dark, had penciled the quietness with wisps of fluttering black. We let the darkness fall over and around us. The river, the Rhine, flowed on, its boats of commerce chugging upstream and more swiftly down. We were close, sharing coffee from our little thermos. Mary told me of the Peace Pilgrim, the singular lady from America who walked her way to peace. Sitting there with Mary and the river, with coffee, warm, and the crows asleep, I knew it was true. She did. She did walk her way to peace. And an immeasurable part of it fell softly on us, just then, in the darkness, at the cottonwood, under the penciled sky. Okay, I want to make a little comment about the theme of this story with the flower master. The flower master loves each flower totally, and each flower is his favorite flower. Now, in this world of relativity, that seems impossible. We either have a favorite and a little less favorite, and it's like so. A little bigger, a little better, a little taller, a little shorter. But in reality, everything that is in reality is 100% in reality. The mouse is as much in reality as the elephant. Right? The elephant is not 101% in reality and the mouse 99%. No, they're both 100% in reality. So we can say that God or reality or truth includes, and man tends to exclude. So the idea of choice for us is a little bit different than for God. God chooses each and every one, and each and every one contains the whole thing. Each point contains all the other points. So that's God's choice. We tend to choose, we have many, throughout history, many concepts of being chosen. The chosen ones here, the chosen ones there, the chosen ones there. And right now in the world you have many battles going on between various chosen groups, and they are surrounded by all the unchosen ones, which by the very nature, if I am chosen and you're obviously not chosen, then you're a potential enemy of mine, simply because you're not chosen. And so that anything I might do to you is justified because, after all, I'm chosen. And you're a potential enemy, or in modern terms, a potential terrorist. I'm surrounded by unchosen ones. But I tend to forget that I named myself as chosen. Of course, I say that God did it, but okay, so now we have all of these chosen people. There are Christians and non-Christians. There are Muslims and infidels. There are Jews and Palestinians. Okay, we're all chosen, but we define ourselves by those that we designate are not chosen. Because if everybody's chosen, what's the point, right? What's the point of being chosen if everybody's chosen? But that is the point. Everybody is chosen, and everybody gets all of God's love. It's a little bit, the closest we can come to it here is like a library book. You take out the book, you can take out everything from that book, 100%. You can take out as much as you want. You put it back, and the next person also gets to take out 100%. The part that you took out is not missing from the book when the next person takes it. This is the closest we come here in this world of relativity to something can be totally shared by each and every one. So here's my message, and I'm trying to get this in this story. If you want to be chosen, and you want to be real, or you want to be honest, or you want to be truth or truthful, if you really think about it, the only thing you could possibly be chosen for, in honesty, is to tell the next person you meet that you're the chosen one, and the reason you're chosen is to tell them that they're the chosen one, and they are chosen to tell the next person they meet that they are the chosen one, and that they should tell the next person they meet they are the chosen one. And when that comes all the way around, and someone taps me on the shoulder and says, you know, I'm the chosen one, and I'm here to tell you that you're the chosen one, then I'll know that the circle of atonement is completed, and I'll be finished here, okay? So you can be as chosen as you want to be. Just remember, the only thing you could possibly be chosen for, in truth, is to tell everybody else that they're equally chosen. Anything else is a lie. And if anyone comes to you with any concept of chosenness, and those that are not chosen, they're a liar, whether they realize it or not. Okay? That's basically the story. So I don't want to make any political comments, but a little message about the poem, The Peace Pilgrim. The Peace Pilgrim walked to peace in America, and in the poem, Mary and I are sitting under the cottonwood tree by the Rhine River in Europe. And this peace comes to us because peace is an essence, right? And it has no limitation, just like your mind, right? Any limitation you place on your mind is self-imposed. Self-imposed. So we all do this. We self-impose our limitations, and we create our own comic book in which we are the superhero, of course. Right? Okay. Just remember, it's a comic book. But the comic book is a part of a much larger story, and that's the story of the flower master. And you just bring your flower, you'll be all right. You'll be totally loved. Okay? That's it. Thank you. We have some more stories. We'll continue with this series. We have a few more stories, so stay tuned. Thank you. Okay.